Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Barbecue Champs Academy. My name is Mike Steele, and it's so great to have you with us tonight. We've got a great lineup tonight. We're going to be talking about a little kids barbecue and with the KidsQue Nation. So can't wait to find out a little bit more about that. They're definitely trying to grow the sport. And let's face it, the kids are the future of barbecue and state competitions. And I am really excited anytime to be able to help the kids and bring awareness to that. And I hope everybody is looking forward to tonight's show. We got some great guests for that, including one of Barbecue Champs' very own, Miss Shawna Roppolo. So before we get started, as we always do, we like to welcome everybody in. Always appreciate the support that we get. Gordon, always appreciate you being here. Hope you're healing up well from the little fall that you took last week. It was a good cover-up because I got a feeling the wife may have got with you with a skillet. But that's all right. If we want to say that it was a fall on the concrete, we're good with that. Emmanuel, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Dan, thanks as always. Appreciate you being here as well. Smokestack, there we go. How are you doing? Appreciate you being here. This is one of our newest customers that we've had on Barbecue Champs Academy, if I recall, Backyard Cooker. And they jumped in now and have taken a couple pitmaster classes and some state classes and said some of the best stuff that she's ever taken, and learning a lot. And that always means a lot to us. Caitlin, thank you for being here. Brandon, thank you for being here as well. Count on you guys every week. Might have to start working and get you guys on the show. I know we had Caitlin on here. It seems like earlier in the year, if I recall, I think we had you on, Caitlin. We get so many guests, I can't remember them half the time, but I try to keep up with as many as I can. Brad, we appreciate you being here. John, thank you for coming. Mr. Big Jim Hudgens, thank you for being here. Paul Wolf, appreciate it, Paul. Thanks for being here tonight. We got folks just steadily coming in. Mike Johnson, jumping over everybody. Thank you for being here. There's Mr. Raz himself. I know we've had him on here. Hey, Mike, great to have my Shreveport family on tonight. Excited about Shawna and Steve. Yes, it's going to be a great one tonight. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about. Steve was telling me a little bit about the KidsQue Nation right before we jumped on. It's a pretty fascinating story, and I can't wait to everybody to hear it. Miss Marissa Overson, the champ's in the house. Appreciate you being here, Marissa. I hope everything's going good for you. I guess you're probably getting a little fall break coming up or Christmas break coming up from school. So I know you're getting excited to finish up school, and hopefully next year you can get out on the comp trail and cook quite a bit more than what you've been able to this year. Let's see who else. James and Mike, I missed the outlaw competition last weekend. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to that competition. It was just back to back. Pretty good drive for us over to the Dallas area, and I know that parking lot is somewhat congested. And I've got a 40-foot toy hauler, and I didn't really think about wanting to run that thing in through the parking lot. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to sit out on this one. But I cannot wait to go back and do another one. Had a great time at the first one, and looking forward to many more of the Outlaw Barbecue Association cook-offs. So let's see, Rockin' A Grilling Supplies. Chuck's in the house tonight, and appreciate you guys being here. Brad, thank you for showing up. And Steve, let's see here. Good evening, Big Mike. Appreciate Steve. Hopefully everybody's going to stick around for a great show tonight. And we're going to get the chance to talk a little bit about some kids barbecue competitions. It's such a growing sport, and COVID kind of put a damper on that when it hit last year, and kind of slowed some of the kids competitions down. And I hated that. It seemed like we had a couple different organizations that was doing really good and growing pretty well. And when the COVID hit, man, that was a dagger to the kids. And we'll talk to Steve a little bit about that here in just a moment. Certainly, we do want to be mindful of all the ones that was hit by the tornadoes, or the tornado up through Kentucky and Illinois. I think it ended up hitting 6 or 7 states the last I seen. A devastating path. Our thoughts and prayers are going out to obviously all the families that lost loved ones, those that they're still trying to and are search and rescue. From what I've heard yesterday, there's still about 100 people that are unaccounted for, and I just hope that they're safe, that they just haven't been able to get to them. and as far as communication wise, but they have got a major devastation that was up there. I know Operation Barbecue Relief has already been deployed to go feed all these people in need. If you get a chance, please go to Operation Barbecue Relief's website. There's a place that you can go donate. That money goes straight to supplying food and stuff, so these guys and gals that is helping with that can go in and feed all of these people that are in desperate need. So if you can, if everybody were to just go, even if it's $5, every bit matters in a case like this, and that's going to feed somebody. And a lot of times we sit around, we wonder what we can do. We see the devastation. It's horrible. To me, one of the biggest things is having a good meal to eat. And you've lost your house, you've lost supply chains that's in that area. There's no probably electric or anything in that area for them to cook on, or gas or anything else. I'm sure that's probably been shut off. And these people are in desperate need of a good meal. And the people at Operation Barbecue Relief, they turn out some absolute fantastic food. So if you don't mind, go over there and go hit Operation Barbecue Relief's website and make a donation for this. It's for a great cause. Let's see who else we got. We got Steve in. Appreciate you being here tonight, Steve. Dan, let's see what you've got to say. Prayers for all affected by last week's storm. Yes, absolutely. Let's please keep those in our thoughts and in our prayers. So, let's see if there's anything else I'm trying to think of. Make sure I've got everything covered and everything. Thought I had something else to talk about. If I do, I'm sure I'll be reminded of it as I'm continuing through this show. But without further ado, one thing I do need to do, I do want to thank all of our partners, as we always do each and every week. I couldn't do what I do without the support of all of these companies. Mr. Danny at Be Extreme Barbecue, B&B Charcoal, they seem like they're just really got the hammer down on getting all the stores supplied again. It's so great to see all the orange and green bags out there and the char logs and everything. We do appreciate their support as always. Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop, Mr. Brian Crawford. Check them out. He carries almost every single rub that we use in our classes. He's got some great rubs himself, his Crawford's Barbecue Products. He is using that. And also our newest one, Mr. Wild Bill, Texas Select Seasoning, been around since the mid-'80s, and it's got some absolutely phenomenal rub. Got some great rub for game, venison and stuff like that. So check him out, Texas Select Seasoning. Also, my good buddy David at Gunnar Wilhelm Knives. Look, if you have bought classes from us, go into the private message boards that I've got for everybody. If you bought any of the All Access classes, and there is 2 links in there that'll get you into a big discount for some Gunnar Wilhelm knives. I'm going to post that again, but I'm letting you guys know that's going to end right after Christmas. So go in and take a look. He's got 2 different knife sets for you. If you've never bought any of these Gunnar Wilhelm knives, I highly recommend them. They are one of the best knives that I've ever come across. Wicked sharp, and they hold an edge better than any other knives I've tried in the past. So go check it out. And that's something that we're offering for all of our customers, and appreciate Gunnar Wilhelm doing that. My good buddy John and Ronald Burns at steakrubs.com. Check them out. Also, Dustin Stanley at the barbecue store down in Hempstead, Texas. Dustin just does a great job. He carries, once again, almost every rub that we use throughout our classes. Always fast shipping. You can always count on them to get it out for you when a crunch is in need. And last but not least, Raider Red Meats. This is a wonderful place to buy product from. They are on the Texas Tech campus, and they've got some programs that for these students going through, teaching them how to butcher, processed meats and stuff like that. And they've got a retail store as well. So if you're looking for steaks, Prairie Fresh ribs, I know they're a big, huge distributor of Prairie Fresh. They've got some incredible pork butts and ribs. You can get all of that from Raider Red Meats. They got quick shipping. They can overnight it to you if need be. So be sure to check them out, and let's help support that college as well. Well, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get started here. just making sure. EST, Texas Wicked Pig. Yep, it's very good. I know he's got a juicy pig. I don't know if I've ever tried the Wicked Pig. If he has, I'm going to have to try it if you say if it's that good. So, anyway, let's get started here real quick. First of all, we're going to bring in the lady of the hour. Ladies first, ain't that right? Miss Shawna, how are you doing? Uh-oh, you got it on mute. Unmute. We'll try it again. There we go. How are you doing, sweetie? You doing all right?
I am good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I do appreciate you being here, and thanks for reaching out to me. We was looking for something to always put on our show, and I appreciate you reaching out and see if we can bring some awareness to the KidsQue Nation. Just real quick, tell me how things have been going for you, and then we're going to bring Steve in.
Sure. Things are going good. We've not been cooking a whole lot this year, but doing some just here and there. Doing okay. I'm kind of in a slump at the moment, so not really the way I wanted to end the year, but that's okay. We'll come back and start in January and maybe see how we can do then.
Well, I saw, if I recall, there was somebody that was in Blanchard last year at the first kickoff of the year that got one of them nice big belt buckles. I know you and I got to share it because you got one and I got one. So
that is what I'm looking forward to. That's a hard contest to win, especially twice. But us girls tend to take that one over in the stake.
Y'all do you and there's the blue. Rachel Blue. That's the one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, it seems like that she does very, very well there. I know she got a belt buckle in 2018, and that was the first one.
Yeah, we just talked about it the other night over there at her house that we were ready to go. So we're waiting on January 15th to get here.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, well, I tell you what, the way that the steak stuff goes, you come and go, everything's in a streak, you get on a roll, everything's rocking and rolling, then all of a sudden it bites you a little bit and you try something and I don't know, you just gotta keep cooking. There's a lot of good cooks that are out there right now.
There are, just going with the flow and trying to figure out what the judges are wanting at that point.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep moving, but everything's going good. And we're just rocking along, getting ready for Christmas and start the new year.
Yep, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve Jimenez, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I am doing absolutely wonderful. Glad to have you with us as well. And we're going to get a chance to talk about a little bit about the KidsQue Nation. You was kind of filling me in a little bit on this at the beginning of the show, and was very interesting after I heard some of the things that you've done with it and what's going on, and definitely want to talk a little bit about that. So tell us a little bit about who Steve is. What's your background, Steve? We know Shawna's. We know her long history in the SCA. What's been your history? What do you do? Are you a competition barbecue cook, steak cook, both? And are you just part-time helping Shawna? Because I see you helping her quite a bit, and I think I've even seen y'all compete against each other. So who is Steve and what does he do other than the Q Nation stuff? We'll get into that.
Sure. Well, hey, Mike, first of all, thanks for having us on. I really do appreciate that. We've been watching the show for a while, and appreciate you letting us come in and talk about the organization and ourselves a little bit. But to sum it up, I started off in barbecue. I started cooking barbecue in about 2012, 2013. Really, as my brother and I started cooking, we had just a team together. We decided to be something fun to do. Really a good reason to go have a couple of beers with some friends and hang out.
Right.
Well, then a buddy of mine that I went to high school and college with joined us, Scott Stanish. We started cooking together, and we got tired of losing. And it's an expensive thing to go just do on a weekend and not win, right?
Right.
And the competitive part of us, we all grew up playing sports. I hate losing. And so after a couple of months, you're like, okay, this is no fun. We've got to figure out how to do this. We got more serious. Guys started becoming more friendly and sharing advice with us. And lo and behold, we started getting on a roll. And between 2013 and 2015, Scott and I were cooking together under High Strung Barbecue. We're really up until about 2020. But for about 3 or 4 years, we're as hot as we could be. I mean, we were cooking on a one-man pit, custom-made trailer. Danny built a great pit for us, and
Mm-hmm.
we could go have a great time on the weekend and walk out with the grand championship without really thinking about it. But that was the days where, if you had good recipes, they hit.
Right.
Now I think it's so technical, so competitive. There's so much parity. You've got to be on your game every event you go to.
Yeah.
So we did that for a while, and then started KidsQue Nation in about 2015. We had seen KidsQue, you know,
Uh-oh, he's locking up. I see. Shawna, why don't you unmute yourself and see if you can...
Sorry, I was hollering at him in the other room.
there we go. Some reason it froze up on us. All right, go ahead, Steve. Keep going.
So, like I said, what we were trying to do is just we've been to a couple of events and had some KidsQues at the events, and not ours, just Scott's kids competed, and it's just so inconsistent at times. You could have kids cooking at the camps with mom and dad. They might be cooking in a defined area by themselves or with their parents. They might cook pork chops. They might cook other proteins, and it was just never any consistency. So we thought, well, let's start something at the next cook-off we run. We actually ran a cook-off, and let's just do something different with the kids. Let's be consistent with it. And so we did. We started running these kids cook-offs at just our events, the 1 or 2 events we ran a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, promoters started calling us and going, hey, would you mind coming and doing this at our event? Would you mind coming and doing this at our event? And so slowly it formalized. So through my barbecue background, we got involved with KidsQues, and then run those over the last couple of years. And then I got started cooking in steak cook-offs about 2 years ago. Had some friends that did a few of these steak events, and I thought, man, this looks fun. It's a one-day event. You don't have to spend all week prepping for a barbecue event. I don't spend all weekend cooking from a barbecue event and then start over the next week.
Right.
So started going to some SCA events and didn't do well at first. We'd hit some good jackpot steaks in barbecue. So I thought, sure, I can come into SCA. No, didn't do well.
Yeah.
Didn't do well at first.
Right.
But then, same thing. You got in, started talking to people, got to meet some great people on SCA. They start, and it's like barbecue. You start talking to people, showing and putting in an effort, they're going to start giving you some tips. They won't always give you the secrets, but they'll give you tips.
Right.
And that's what's happened. And then in the last 2 years, just gotten to where, hit a few first place calls and gotten to go to the world championship once or twice. And it's a fun thing to be a part of. I think Brett and those guys do a great job with the organization. Yep. There's a lot of good people that, we get to see week in and week out from all over the country. I mean, we went to an event last weekend in Arkansas and saw people from Texas, from Arkansas, from Louisiana, from Mississippi and Oklahoma, Iowa. I mean, that's just pretty cool.
Right.
And so, my background's been more barbecue, but really starting to get into steaks more. I feel like it's important for me to cook each week or when I can. Going and trying to teach kids and mentor kids. If I'm not doing it myself, how much value can I add?
Right.
I think it's important, I can impart on them what I do on a regular basis as well.
Right.
So it's important for me to try and do well each week when I go out.
Well, that's a pretty neat story. So you are one of the founders or co-founders, I guess actually a co-founder. You was telling me you had a partner that y'all started it together, so that should be a co-founder. He's out of the picture, and now you are pretty much, the mastermind behind the KidsQue Nation, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us
buddy.
What makes KidsQue Nation different than, it's an organization. So what makes it different than, say, just another organization, another kids competition?
So the first thing I think is our focus on family. Our goal is not necessarily to put on the best cook-off for kids. It's to create an environment where kids can come out with their parents and do something outside and get off their devices. That's our first focus. It's get these kids off their devices for an hour. So I think the fact that we're rooted in that family-rich experience is the difference. We're not about the competition. Competition is the tool that we use. Right. The second thing is our competition. So now when you come to a KidsQue Nation event, if you see these colors, wrong side, these colors flying, you're going to know what our rules are. It's consistent everywhere you go. And I was telling you earlier, if you think of Little League Baseball exists all over the world. But I don't care if you play in Japan or if you play in Dallas, Texas, If you're 12 years old, the rules are the same. You're limited on pitches. You can only substitute so many runners. You can only do so many things. And that's what we tried to bring to barbecue or to KidsQue Nation or to KidsQue events. Consistent rules in an organized competition environment.
Wow.
So I think that's like that. Really what separates us a little bit. And then the third thing is our kids cook in a defined kids cook area. They don't cook at the camp with parents.
Okay.
I'll be honest. The first reason we did that was so we can watch and make sure that the kid cooked.
Yeah.
As I told you before, my buddy and I would go to events and his kids would cook, and we'd make Tate and Alexa do everything. They had to season, trim. They had to
do all of it.
Pork chop, turn it in.
Right.
One event, we look over and all of a sudden Junior next to us is riding his bike playing around. Dad's cooking the pork chop.
Yeah.
We go to awards and all of a sudden Junior wins.
Yeah.
That's not cool, right? And we see that even today. I'm not going to call any places out, but we see it happen.
Right.
That was the first reason why we wanted these kids cooking in a defined area. Well, what happened was, think about it this way. When you start going to cook-offs on a regular basis and you see the same people over and over, what happens? You form a friendship.
Yep.
You look for those folks when you come to cook-offs.
Yeah.
I'll be darned if it didn't happen with these kids.
Yep.
Never was a thought. All of a sudden, you start having kids get there, and they're telling their parents where they want to set up now. I want to sit up next to Johnny. I want to sit up next to Mac.
Right.
And so what we've created is that cultural attachment that these kids have. I think that's different. Because our kids follow us around, it's not like one cook-off just put on one event a year and get those come cook, and then they don't see each other until next year. We have kids that follow us across the state of Texas. So I think that a couple of things really separate us in that regard, but I think the biggest thing is our focus on the family environment.
Yeah. You know, I really like what you're doing of pulling all the kids in together, because you think about the barbecue guys, we all get together, we all try to park together, we all hang out, we've all got our friends that we're all just a barbecue family, right? So what perfect way to get all the kids together where they can form their barbecue family amongst them, you know, peers of their age and stuff like that. Man, that is a brilliant way to do. And like you said, it does cut down on the cheating. I say it is. I mean, you know, if a kid's supposed to be cooking the pork chop, why is Dad over there doing the trimming, the seasoning, and putting it on, and he's just sitting there with the spatula? That's not cool. I want to see the kid doing it. You know, I don't want mom or dad over there doing all the work. It's not fair to all the other ones that are really trying to do it and learn it and do it on their own. So, but that is really a cool deal right there. You've got something pretty special right there. Shawna, how have you got involved in this?
Just, you know, I knew about the organization, but then when Steve and I started dating and just kind of took it on, and it was always something. It's kind of crazy. You know, it fell into place with my just teaching wise on barbecue champs because my second class is pork chops.
Right.
So, which majority of the time, that is what they cook. There are, you know, they do steaks as well. So, you know, just helping and being able to teach. And so now with that, even kids can get benefit out of my barbecue champs class.
Right.
You know, dad or mom wants to cook steak, kid does a pork chop, they can get it all in one class.
In one class.
Yeah. So, but it's just something, you know, I've always liked teaching, always liked helping. The kid, you know, aspect just was something exciting for me. So Steve let me come in and, you know, start helping him. And on the side of that, I guess, work side, organization side, I love planning events, doing very detail oriented and that sort of thing. So
right.
When he, you know, mentioned that I could help him, I was like, sure, like I'm ready to go. Let's start planning more events. You know, and then was it a few weeks ago in San Antonio, we were at Traders Village, and we decided we went down, me and him, to rep, and kind of last minute, but it went over well. We decided, let's have a little class, you know, for the kids, like right before they cooked.
Right.
And it went really well. You know, the kids came out, we did just a quick about, you know, 45 minutes to an hour did we go over everything. Let the kids taste the pork chops. And then I think Steve, like 5 or 6 of the kids that walked had been sitting with us in the class that morning.
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Wow.
You know,
6 out of 10.
So just bringing that in and having a different outlook. And we do cook differently, but when we get together and teach the kids, like we really do really well together. And the kids seem to enjoy that. So that's something we're looking at putting more into when we rep the events.
Right.
Maybe putting just a little class. Like I said, it's short, but the kids enjoy it. Gives them something to do while mom and dad are, working on their turn-ins and getting ready to cook. So we've got their attention for a little while again, and they're off their devices and learning a little something all at the same time. So I'm excited to get going for 2022 and, see where add more events and help Steve along the way. So
that's really a cool deal. I remember you had told me, you was like, I need to get into my class because I just want a refresher on exactly what I did, Yes, I mean, it's funny, Terry went into his class. Lee Hickle, I talked to Lee Hickle the other day, and he hadn't cooked IBCA in so long. And he was like, I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm just kind of going through my classes and just making sure I'm up to date on things that I did then, compared to what I've been doing. And, just even the guys and gals on Barbecue Champs, they go in, they look at their class for refreshers and making sure, am I changing something? Because you can literally get so far away from what you did to get you there that all of a sudden, and that's what Terry did. I mean, Terry told me the same thing. Yep. He got so far off trying new things that he's like, I had to get back to the basics. And what brought me back to the basics was...
I think I need to do that myself because the pork chops I hadn't cooked pork chops in a while, and so I want to make sure I tell everybody the same things. But heck, I think now I need to go back and watch my steak class because I'm pretty sure I've changed. Just things have changed, and going back to the basics, which is what we taught. That's what I was doing in the class. Yeah, I'm sure I have forgotten and changed some things, not realizing it. So I'm also glad I'm not the only one that has gone back to my class.
Oh no, trust me. I mean that y'all all. I see somebody like, oh, there's such and such. Oh, look, because I can see everybody that's coming in. I'm like, oh, Robbie's in his class. Oh, this guy's in his class. I can see everybody coming into their class and stuff, and it's really cool to see. But yeah, you can sometimes start trying things so much that you start losing focus on what got you there. I know there was this big guy down here named John Lindsay that was shaking in his boots when he went up against you. And I pretty much watched what you cooked that day. And I'm telling you, it was almost 95% of what you did in the class was done that day, and you had John shaking in his boots so bad. I think he only beat you by like 2 or 3 tenths of a point. So
it wasn't much.
It wasn't much. It was a couple of tenths. So it just goes to show, sometimes you can start doing things and go, why did I do that? In our mind, we're always trying to think to do better, and sometimes we keep trying and we're going the wrong direction. I wrote down your class word for word on paper. I've looked back at it quite a few times. Mike, trust me, I hear that a lot. I've got notes, I've got books, I've got this. People tell me that all the time. So let's see. We need more Clash of the Titans. Yes, we do. That was a really fun deal to do, no doubt. So, look at here, Mr. Champ himself. Kids must be involved. The amount of involvement of the kid is based on the age and maturity of the kid. I'm currently teaching my grandchild in stages. Currently, I do the trimming and start the fire. The rest is my granddaughter. I teach them little tricks. Hope that I'm not contradicting what your organization is attempting to do. Keep up the great work with KidsQue Nation. No, I mean, Terry, you're teaching them off-site. You're showing them the things that they've got to do. That's how you get better. And then when they are, you're maturing them to, all right, I can do this, I can do that. And when they get all aspect of being able to trim, season, start their fire, and cook the steak or the steak or pork chop, whichever one it is, because Steve said it could be both, mostly pork chops. You're training them, and that's what you should do. So, Steve, what do you think about that?
No, I think he's 100% on. Practicing at home is great, and keep in mind in our organization too, one of those different failed to mention is we don't make the kids cook by themselves. They're sectioned off, but they're there with their families. And that's for two reasons. There's one is the primary focus of that is safety. Mom and dad keeping their kids safe. It is impossible for us as reps to keep 15 to 20 kids safe if we're just supervising them. So having families involved is important to us from that aspect. But also they can be there to coach their kid and walk them through what they're doing. There's an importance in that. I think that, what I tell people is if your kid can't trim the pork chop or steak, don't make them do it at the event. If they can't inject it, don't make them do it. Do it at home. But let them, and it's no different in sports, right? If I can't throw a curveball at 12 years old, there's no point in me trying to throw a curveball. I can practice at home with my dad. But I'm never going to throw it for a strike in a game, so why am I going to do it? And I can potentially hurt my elbow if I'm not throwing that ball right. Same thing here. If you can't use a knife at game time, don't use it at game time. It's not going to kill your score. We want these kids to come out and have fun, spend time with their family, and they do want to win. So it is important to create a consistent, fair environment for the winning. But absolutely, I love the fact that they teach them at home. What I tell a lot of people too is the fun thing that we saw happen over the last couple of years is when we started doing this, we were doing pork chops. Why do we do pork chops? Two reasons. One, it's easier on the promoter from a cost standpoint. Have you seen beef prices lately?
Yeah. Pork chops are pretty cheap.
Two, pork chops are cheaper. And then two, it's kids. It's easier for kids to cook, right?
Yeah.
And then if they burn it, big deal. They burned $1.50 pork chop,
not
an $8 steak or $20 steak. But what we heard is, we have parents, Steve, can you please have them cook steaks? I'm tired of eating pork chops. What happens is these kids go home and they practice. And they practice because they want to keep getting better. To where, like, I literally have people complain that
they eat too many pork chops. Just tell them, Steve, it's the other white meat. It's healthier for you. That stops all of it. Just say, look, I'm just trying to look out for your heart health, okay?
Trying to keep you healthy,
That's it.
Our family fun mentality. We got to keep the family involved.
That's right. We got to keep you around long enough. We don't need you to have heart problems from eating too many steaks all the time with too much red meat. So there's your angle. See there's your angle right there.
I like it.
That's what's fun too, is like at that last cook-off we had, there was one kid that had, the whole family. Literally, I think he probably had 10 or 12 people in his camp, like in his little area, and they were all supporting him and just excited. And we walk around and talk to all of them, and it's just a fun atmosphere having everybody together and seeing the families, work together. So it's a good thing. I'm seeing that Bo Daniels comment. Brody. So Brody took the class we did in Azle at Papa Joe's, and that was a fun class. That was probably, honestly, I think that was my first live in-person class ever to do. So before it, Steve laughs because I was so nervous. I was
fixing to say, how nervous was you at that? Since you didn't have nobody calming you down. So
no, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what to do. I told him, I said, Mike walked me through the other one. I've never taught anything live like this. But it was so much fun. Those kids are so into it. They pay attention. They listen to everything that you say. They go back, and at the end of that class, which was fun, is we had a competition amongst the kids. So they got to compete that day. And they had prizes and everything, and so it was a lot of fun. And Brody was one of the kids in that class, so I'm glad he enjoyed it and learned from it. And we see him cooking out there a lot too. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully, we'll see him at some of our events this year.
Yep. All right, Steve, we got a question. What is the age limit on kids?
So right now we take kids that are technically anywhere from 5 to 17.
17.
We don't get them at that higher end of the teens. But we will, because in barbecue you can't cook till you're 18.
Right.
So we'll take them and give them a chance to compete. But ideally, what we really see is 5 to 13.
5 to 13. Okay, that's good. That's good.
I think the big thing is just making sure kids are staying safe. We want that kid that can pay attention. We want the kid that's not going to be a danger to himself or herself. Around a fire.
Right, 100%. Oh, let's see what we got. KidsQue class on barbecue champs, Mike. Yep. That would be good. There's no doubt. I see a KidsQue Clash of the Titans coming soon.
I like that idea.
That would be really, really good. That's something we probably could try to get together, get some of the top kids. I know Dallas is just knocking it out of the park. Get several other ones. Try to get 4 of them in here. Oh man, it's very, very expensive to shoot those classes like the Clash of the Titan. It's not cheap, but oh man, it would make for some great, great TV. That is for sure. So, oh, Terry, pork chop is harder to cook and execute versus a steak. Yeah, if you overcook it, it's, it can get pretty dry. You got to find that right magic number. That is for sure. So, yes, give them kids something to work for. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, Terry, James.Terry, any advice on temp on a pork chop? Yeah, there's a lot of good. I mean, I don't know. Where do you typically tell someone, Shawna? What's kind of a target range?
I mean, I'm usually light at 145. You know, to pull. I don't know. I honestly haven't, where we cook steaks and we can say the atmosphere outside the temp changes of how much it rises and all that. I know Emma, my daughter, just cooked a couple of weeks ago in Graham, and we actually, I think, was able to pull hers at like 142 or something, and it rose to 145, 146. So it, it rises a little bit, but that 145 mark is pretty good, and her pork chops turned out pretty good. So yeah, so that's kind of the number I would go for.
Right. Any plans to branch outside of Texas? Now, I think your website says that at one time you were in 4 or 5 different states, correct? Is that still hold true today? Or I know COVID really kind of messed things up. Y'all was rocking and rolling and in several states, and then all of a sudden COVID hit. You had to shut everything down. So where are we at now? Are we trying to get into other states, or is that currently working?
No, absolutely. We are definitely trying to get in other states. I'll be honest, like what we need support from people. We need people resources. Initially, when this was starting off, it was me and a handful of folks. I had, Scott was helping me out. A good friend of mine, Emily, was helping out. And we had some other folks, Jeff Brankett, buddy of mine. But it's limited on time and resources where we can get all over the place. And so one of the big needs we have is people to rep events in other areas. We're definitely looking to grow and get outside. We've got the ability to train folks, get them in place in different places. We have a very structured scoring system. I don't know if anybody knows this, but we partner with SCA. So we literally have SCA scoring system. We have the ability to run the scoring at a very structured level. There's a program. It's almost infallible to enter these scores. So we could literally, the easiest way for us to train a judge is to send them to an SCA class.
Wow.
But we literally can train them. And we're very fortunate to have Brett and Ken as partners to allow us to use these systems and to create the environment where these kids are prepped to go into SCA when they're done. I mean, at 13, you can cook an SCA event.
Yeah.
If you've been cooking our events, you've been scored on that same process your entire time in KidsQue Nation.
That's awesome. That is
so
really
for us,
cool.
with people resources, that's the biggest thing we need right now is get folks on board that want to help us and get us out into different areas and represent us at different events.
That's really cool. Well, I think Mike hit the nail on the head here. We can do a GoFundMe for the filming for Barbecue Champs. Yeah. I never thought about that, Mike. That may be a really good thing to do. Talk to my film crew, find out how much it'll cost to get you guys in here for a day. We can film, 4 people, 2 and 2. Yeah, Carly would be another good one. Carly would be down. Could you imagine Carly and Dallas? I mean, those 2 are just phenomenal cooks, and get a couple other ones and then pair them off. All right, let's go. That would
Mike,
be.
One of the things that separates us too is we have a top 10 list of our kids. We track their points all year long.
Oh, that's
I've got
really
kids
cool.
that have been cooking for 5 years that are consistently in our top 5.
Wow.
We'll be putting out that top 10 list here pretty quick. But I can show you kids that have cooked consistently throughout the year and achieved, earned their points. And we'll be able to exhibit those pretty soon. We do an invitational event that takes place usually in March, where all of our top kids come and cook.
Where's that located?
It's in San Antonio.
In San Antonio, man.
Where,
Now that
where I
would be
live.
really. I wish there was a way we could get that a little closer to Shreveport, because that would be something that I could get the film crew to come in and say,
Ah,
okay, we could just shoot a film, kind of behind the scenes. We did this for the KidsQue at a competition in Lake
I
Merval,
saw it.
not this
Yeah,
year,
I remember
last
that.
year.
That was,
And we just
yeah.
kind of went behind the scenes and filmed them and put it together. And I don't know, those guys did an amazing job. It was so just on the cuff shooting. So
I think it's cheaper to travel 5 folks down to San Antonio than 25 families up to Shreveport.
yeah, is that where a lot of them are? Is down in San Antonio?
We do, because
Early.
you got to remember right now, a lot of our activity's been in Texas. So we
Yeah.
have, I'd say, out of the top 10 kids that we have, I'm gonna say 6 of them were from the San Antonio
I got you.
hour of San Antonio area.
Yeah,
We have some kids in there from Houston and from the Valley, but most of the kids are rooted around San Antonio. That's just where most of our events have been this past year.
right. That could. Hey, you know what? Clint and John, they're always up for a road trip, so it would not bother them one bit to hook up and head out to San Antonio. So,
I mean, there's worse places to go, right?
oh, absolutely. I love San Antonio. It's good food down there. So, okay, another question. How thick is the average chop for the KidsQue? Do y'all try to 3/4 inch, 1 inch thick chop? Is that where y'all usually at, or where you at?
3/4 inch to an inch. is
Okay.
what we typically will get them at.
Okay, that's cool. Let's see. KidsQue Nation have inspired my cooking, and I'm 60. These young chefs are awesome. That's pretty good right there. It all started with Gene Potts. Get kids cooking. Yep. Yeah, that's for sure.
That's a great segue piece that I haven't had a chance to talk about yet. But Get Kids Cooking is something we're passionate about. It's how we put the classes together. That's what Shawna participated in and Roland. So Gene Potts was a guy I got to meet through SCA. Great steak cooker and great guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we lost him. And
Yeah.
one of the things he had wanted to do was partner with us and teach kids to cook.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him in March at a cook-off in South Texas, he had mentioned that. And then shortly passed thereafter, well, his wife Carrie called a few months after that and said, "Hey, this is what Gino wanted to do, and I want to keep doing this."
Right.
In his legacy. And it just touches my heart that that Gino wanted to be so involved with us. This guy was a great steak cook, awesome dude. And so now through Carrie's participation and through cooks like Shawna, like Johnny Joseph, like Terry, Tim and Sandy, they've all been participants in this and helped teach these kids. And I don't know. That's another big piece we're looking at for next year as well. In 2022, I just talked to Carrie not too long ago, and we're going to start putting our class schedule for 2022, and it'll be a Gene Potts Get Kids Cooking class.
There you go.
And they're getting to learn from these top steak pros. I mean,
Yeah.
how much better can you get?
Yeah.
You got Shawna, you got Terry, you've got Tim and Sandy and Johnny. You can't learn from anybody better in steak
Right.
right now.
Exactly. That's pretty cool right there. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that
hey,
was
Rob.
perfect.
Hey, Rob, how are you doing? You doing all right?
So that name is coined by Rob a few weeks ago at a cook-off for Steve.
Yeah, that's funny.
What's up, Robbie?
Let's see. We plan on scheduling several KidsQue events next year in Liberty. That's very good. So
Yeah, I just talked with Steve today. We've putting some plans together. I can't give too much out yet because he and I haven't had a chance to really formalize them, but it's going to be exciting. And plug for him, he's got his Lone Star State Championship going on this weekend for SCA.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great event, but next year we're putting some plans together for his SCA events and for the KidsQue Nation events that we'll do out in Liberty.
I got you. James, we answered that about 145. For you, you might want to take them on if you're going to cook for turn in anything. You just cook them things to 165. They'll be really, really good, nice and tender at that one. So, pro tip there for you, buddy. Take them high. Get them good. Get them good and dry. You don't want them judges cutting in, seeing juice everywhere, man, and dinging you. So, yeah, usually about 145, James. Oh, let's see. Bring KidsQue to Chicago so my 6-year-old can cook. Yeah, he's trying it. Hey, here's the thing. Now, this is what Steve is needing. If there's anybody that's got a barbecue organization that now obviously we have IBCA, we have Lone Star, we have CBA, we have the new Outlaw Barbecue Association. Obviously, I'm going to reach out to Cody and Terry, and I think Steve, good friends with Terry as well. So see if we could perhaps get some of these KidsQue Nation competitions coming into these new organizations, a couple new ones, obviously. The newest is CBA and the Outlaw Barbecue Association. So, Nathan, if you've got somebody up there, that an organization that's in there, that's how you get it started. Get them in touch with Steve and let him talk to the promoter, and that's how it takes. So if you know a promoter that's putting on a barbecue competition, Steve, can it be a state competition as well? I'm assuming it doesn't have to be barbecue, right? So if you've there is a cajillion state competitions out, SCAs everywhere. So talk to some promoters and say, look, we need to bring the kids, the KidsQue Nation in, and that's how it'll work. I'm sure you're needing judges. I'm sure you're needing people to help. Obviously, you can't go everywhere. No,
Shawna doesn't like it if I go everywhere every week.
Right. So what do you need for that? I mean, what's to grow outward other than Texas and a few other states? What do you need? Do you need like a head judge that could be in a certain area that knows how to do everything, that can train other people?
Right. Yeah, that's it. So you think of it as a head judge, we call them an event rep.
Yeah.
So we need folks that can serve in that capacity. That's what I mean. We can train them on our process. It is a very hands-on process. When you get to an event as a rep, you're going to do everything that it takes to run that event. You're going to set up a camp. You're going to run check-in. You're going to do meat selection with kids. You're going to walk around and enforce rules with the kids.
Right.
And then you're going to change hats, run in the back, instruct the judges on our judging process, run the judging, and then in some capacities or some environments, even announce the awards. If
Right.
the promoter wants to run and announce the awards, more power to them.
Right.
But there's oftentimes, I think just through my relationships where we're at, they let us do it. And then, of course, the responsibility at that point is track the results and get them back to us, because we're going to track those all year long. We're going to continue this KidsQue Nation Invitational. We're going to continue the points recognition. We're going to create programs that incentivize kids to cook and that recognize regular cookers. There's going to be a lot of new things coming into 2022 that we'll need to have kind of hands-on experience with, somebody taking notes, telling us
Right.
when,
Right.
bringing that back to us.
And
That
I
is-
think
Sometime. I mean, it's not a bad way to spend a Saturday. I mean, ask Shawna, she's kind of newer to it than me. I enjoy doing this, but what is it? What was your experience in being in events so far with us?
It is fun, and it's a different avenue of seeing cooking. Just being only in the steak world. I just started steak. I didn't do barbecue, so I've only been to a few barbecues, as hanging out. So that's different.
Right.
But just the kids, it's fun, and to see their excitement. Just being able to go around and talk to the kids. The kids ask you questions. They look up to you,
Yeah.
you're the role model for them for that.
That's it.
And someone that's not their parents. I mean,
Yep.
what kid listens to their parents?
Yeah.
Parents don't know anything. So
Right.
come ask us, and they do. And they ask all kinds of questions. So, and that was fun. That put on your teaching hat, even though you're there to run the event. So
Right.
it was definitely fun. And I know on the point of getting new reps, wanting to be in different parts of the country, that's a big thing. And we have partially discussed being able to train those and possibly doing like a virtual training of some sort. So we don't have to, we won't have to fly everywhere or go everywhere just to train them.
Right.
So that's something all these people asking about different states. Hopefully that will come where we can get our training program on some kind of virtual training. So.
Well, look, Steve, here's one thing that I can offer for you. If you wanted to come in, obviously you're right down the street from me right now, but we could literally come in and bring the film crew in, and we could film all of that. So where it would be an information packet that you just send them the video, and it's got everything in it that they need. So
That'd be awesome. Absolutely.
So that's something that we could do. I've got cameras here that heck I could film it just as simple as that.
Right.
Right here in the studio. So
Yeah.
and then get done with it. Then John and Clint could go in, edit it, and put in anything that we need. And now you've got an information packet that you can send out. And if I can help you with that, then
That'd be
you can
ideal,
certainly use.
because
Oh,
Well, I
I
think
think
the
so
ideal
for
because it
sure.
allows us to get a little bit more of a reach, but at the same time, we don't have to travel. And
Right.
right now, we don't know
Exactly.
what's going to happen travel wise, and it just makes sense to be able to do this in a virtual environment.
I mean, granted,
Right.
we love to travel and go places, but not every
Yeah.
single weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. You,
Like
you can only go
you
so
want some
much.
time at
So,
home. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You can only do so much. So, let's see, Jamie, would you all consider helping high school FFA teams as now this is a big deal in competition for high schools? Yeah, that's for sure. So,
Absolutely,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that would be
absolutely.
fun. Do classes, do something, something to help those high school teams to get moving or help create those
yep,
FFA teams.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
becoming a big thing for Texas
Oh, it's
to have
huge.
the barbecue teams.
And Outlaw Barbecue, and Chuck was just saying, Outlaw Barbecue, you can start cooking at age 14 with parent supervision. So that's something that they threw in there. So he says Carly has her countdown 310 days till she turns 14 to cook barbecue against her dad. Chuck, you might want to go ahead and start getting those Barbecue Champ Academy classes. Got a couple good barbecue pit masters. You probably ought to start working on those recipes now if Carly's going to come after you. So you might need a little help. So that girl's dangerous. So anyway. Let's see what else we got. Tim says, good job, Steve. Great job, Steve. You and Shawna represent the best of the cooking community. Yes, that is true. And if I recall, man, congratulations to you. I think you won
Yeah.
the second Outlaw
Yeah.
Barbecue cook-off this weekend over in Grapevine. So, man,
Yeah.
congratulations on that. Absolutely awesome job. Getting our daughters involved in kids cook-offs did so much for her. It gave her a boost in confidence, and now she's cooking new things at home all the time. There you go. Train them
That's
early.
awesome. Yeah.
And
That's it.
that's true. They do get a level of confidence. And one of
Oh,
the stories I
yeah.
like to tell, when we first started, we had a young man down in South Texas, just San Antonio. He'd
Right.
come to cook-offs. He had friends that cooked, and he was so shy, very much to himself on his phone. The barbecue guys he knew decided, hey, let's get him involved in the KidsQue. Started cooking, and this kid went on to be one of our biggest successes. This kid won some of our biggest events. I mean, he won in Pleasanton at a turn and burn event that had 87 kids cooking, first place. And now it's not all because of KidsQue Nation, but you could see him start to gain a level of confidence. You could see him change a little bit.
Right.
When he got to cook-offs from now on, he walked a little higher, and he would shake hands and talk to people.
Right.
He even got in high school band, and they got a trophy somewhere. And he came home and told his mom, this kid over here next to me said he never got a trophy before. Can you believe that? She looked at him and she says, well, you wouldn't have had one either if you hadn't done barbecue. And he's like, oh, that's true. So it's just like you see these kids and they grow and they become things. And, we've got a couple of kids that are out of high school now and they're in college, and it's fun to watch them. And,
Right.
then we've got a kid like Dallas who's come up, took our class, got involved in a few KidsQues, and is growing in SCA. And the kids is, little, a budding star right now,
Right.
And it's fun
Right.
to watch. That's fun for us to watch too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I'm very excited for what you guys are doing. We're doing everything we can to try to grow the sport of competition barbecue and steak, and helping the backyard cookers as well. We've helped so many people across the country. I had an order that came in today from Italy. I mean, it's just, that's the second. We had one from Italy. We had one from, oh gosh, where was this other one? We had one from over in Germany last week. So we're reaching across the pond quite a bit. And, that's the great thing. Everybody might not be able to come to it, but one thing they can do, they can go in, they can take a class. Shawna's class would be great for somebody. Alan Newton did a pork chop. And we did pork chops for that reason, because I was like, there's going to be some kids that may want to get into doing this.
I think that we even talked about that in my
Yeah.
class. For that very reason.
For the very reason that we did that. And, at one point, that was one of the things that that was going to be another phase of Barbecue Champs, is where we did one with the kids. But it's just, the production part of filming something like that, and unfortunately, some of that stuff I've just got to charge for because it's just so expensive to recover. I didn't know if anybody would even buy them, but the good thing is, they've got people like Shawna, like Alan, that they can go in, they can take these classes. And, Sean, I think you said something just a second ago that rings pretty strong. They're not necessarily going to listen to their parents, but they're going to look up to you, right? I mean, let's think about you're, a female cooker of the year. Girls are going to look up to girls are going to look up to girls teaching them, obviously, and then they look at you and they look at your success. And when you tell them, hey, I started with nothing. I didn't know anything, but I learned, and I became, the first, SCA female cooker of the year back to back.
And I think
that rings a lot.
And it's big, of just cooking. Anybody, and literally, I'll say if I can learn to cook, anybody can learn to cook. And only because when I started cooking, I had never started a fire. I had never, I'd been around cooking. Yeah, my dad cooked for a long time, and but I'd never started a fire. I'd been around and just watched the trimming and watched the process, but doing everything by myself and then getting thrown into it. I was like, okay, do it or don't, or throw your hands up. Well, when you do it, and you just learn. And so that's what these kids, and they'll listen. I mean, it's, I was that kid that mom and dad didn't know anything, sports, whatever. I wasn't going to listen to them, but I listened to my friend's parent or whoever over here. So I think that's big. So any of these kids that even have somewhat of an interest, get them out there, just let them try.
That's it.
And I think that they'll learn to love it. I mean, that's,
they will.
And if you don't let them try, just watch them, and safety's the thing, but all kids, we all learn, and I think they'll really grow to love cooking. And what is it? Gordon said that his kid cooks at home more now. So that's a huge, what parents wouldn't want their kids to cook them dinner?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Dallas will be following Shawna Jo Roppolo footstep, world champion. Yep, I tell you what, don't be so surprised. Give her a couple more years into this and more knowledge, more cooks. Going to continue to grow.
And just the mentorship of Dallas, she had cooked, I think, one or two NSCA and didn't do real well the first time. And so she was, so Steve was like, text her on that whenever she won a few weeks ago. He said, text her and y'all talk, just tell her to settle down and be okay. And I literally texted her that morning and said, you've got this. Act like you're cooking at home. Don't think about being at a cook-off. Just cook, have fun, and enjoy yourself, and not saying that that's what helped her, but just those little things, as she won, she texted me and was excited. And and we congratulated her. And so it's fun for us to see somebody that looks up to us and wants us to know how they're doing as they grow in the sport.
Absolutely. Well, I certainly do appreciate y'all coming on Barbecue Champs and telling y'all's story. Anything that we can always do for you, let us know, Steve. We'll try to help in any way that we can. And, the barbecue and state competition's future is these very young ones that are coming up and going through the ranks right now. They are the future of barbecue in state, and it's great to see them getting involved. We need these kids, like you said, Steve, put the phone down and start cooking. So I appreciate it so much. Y'all got any other final closing thoughts, Shawna?
I'm good. Just appreciate you letting us come on here and discuss KidsQue and get it out there. We hope to have lots more events coming in 2022, and I know Steve's working hard to get a lot of things going and grow it. And I think we're going to have a good year.
Yep, sounds good.
Appreciate you letting us be on here.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you need this platform, it is yours. So
I appreciate
Steve, that. What about you, Steve?
Well, again, Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate you letting us come on. And as Shawna said, we're excited about 2022. We can't wait to get moving forward. The biggest thing I'll tell people is just get your kid outside, spend some time with them away from the TVs and devices. And if you want to come participate with us, please do so. We'd love to have you. And if anybody wants to work with us on being a rep, check us out on Facebook or shoot me an email at steve@kidsqnation.com.
There you go. I appreciate it, guys. Well, look, y'all have a Merry Christmas. It's coming up.
Yes, it
and
is.
I can't wait. Gonna be a good time, that's for sure. But I do appreciate you guys so much. Thank y'all for being here. Have a Merry Christmas. And certainly want to thank everybody that's joined in on our show tonight. We always appreciate you being here. We had quite a few folks even here to learn about KidsQue and ask some questions and stuff along the way. That's the very reason that our sport will succeed and grow is because of our kids. And I think we all want to see that continue to happen. It's been growing like crazy over the last several years, and we want it to continue. I appreciate everybody being here. Lord willing, we'll be back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. As we always say when we end our video cast, have a lot of fun and smoke on.